What do MMORPGs and Diablo have in common? Quite a lot actually. Today, we are breaking down exactly why Diablo series feels like home for MMORPG players. Before World of Warcraft, Blizzard's first venture into role-playing games was Diablo, the 1996 ARPG classic that redefined the genre and paved the way for modern hits like Path of Exile and Grim Dawn. While Diablo itself wasn't an MMORPG, its focus on character progression, loot grinding and dungeon crawling is what hooked millions of us. All the MMORPGs gave us worlds that felt hostile, dark and dangerous. EverQuest's dungeons, Lineage's 2 hunting grounds, RuneScape's wilderness. These were places where exploration wasn't just about beauty, but about risk. The Diablo series has always embraced that tone. From the moment you stepped into Tristram's cathedral in Diablo 1, you felt the danger waiting below. In Diablo 2, every act was a new deadly frontier. Jungles, deserts, hell itself. In Diablo 4, the open world feels massive and oppressive, with every step pulling you deeper into Sanctuary's despair. Just like MMORPGs, Diablo makes exploration meaningful. You dive into dungeons, caves and rifts, never quite sure if you come out with glory or a corpse run. One of the joys of MMORPGs was forging your identity through your character. In WoW Vanilla, playing a Shadow Priest or a Protection Warrior made you stand out. In Guild Wars 1, your skill combinations defined who you were. Diablo has always captured that. From the Necromancer in Diablo 2 summoning armies of skeletons, to the Demon Hunter in Diablo 3 raining arrows from afar, to the Diablo 4 Sorcerer bending elements, you don't just play a character, you become one. And just like in old MMOs, the choices you make in gear, skills and builds matter. Do you go for raw power with a Whirlwind Barbarian or precise control with a Trap Assassin? Each build changes your story, and for MMO veterans, that sense of identity feels familiar and addictive. If there's one thing MMORPG players love, it's loot. Farming a dragon in EverQuest for days, grinding a dungeon in RuneScape for rare drops, or chasing epic gear in WoW. Loot defined the progression. Diablo takes that philosophy and makes it the core of the game. Every monster, every chest, every boss is a chance of something legendary. In Diablo 2, finding a Windforce or Shaku was the stuff of dreams. In Diablo 3, it was Primal Ancients. In Diablo 4, it's uniques that redefine your build. That thrill of seeing a rare drop glimmer on the ground is exactly the same dopamine hit old MMO players remember when that raid boss finally dropped their weapon. Old MMOs punished failure. In EverQuest, you lost XP and had to recover your corpse. In RuneScape, the wilderness could strip you of everything. Diablo continues that tradition with hardcore mode. One death and your character is gone. Weeks, even months of grinding, deleted. It's brutal, but that's why it resonates with MMORPG veterans. Because the rewards feel real only when the risks are high. Beating Diablo on hardcore, that's the same as clearing a raid boss with your guild after weeks of wipes. It's unforgettable, and it gives weight to every step you take. Even though Diablo isn't a traditional MMO, it always thrived on a community. In Diablo 2, the trade lobbies were legendary. Hangling over Stones of Jordan was its own economy. In Diablo 3, teaming up for rifts felt like raiding in bite-sized form. In Diablo 4, world bosses and events bring players together like open world MMOs. It reminds me of Lineage's 2 bustling trade zones, or RuneScape's Varrock Square, player-driven economies and shared hunts that made the world feel alive. Diablo carries that same DNA, making Sanctuary feel like MMO world even if it's not one. What kept old MMORPGs alive for years wasn't just the leveling, it was the endgame loop. Endless dungeons, raids, PvP grinds, you never truly finished an MMO. Diablo is built the same way. In Diablo 2, you farmed Baal and Mephisto for months. In Diablo 3, greater rifts scale infinitely, pushing your build to the limit. In Diablo 4, nightmare dungeons and hell-tide events keep players grinding. This is the MMO treadmill, but downsized. For players who thrived on endless farming and constant progression, Diablo feels like home. What old MMORPG players always talk about isn't just stats, it's stories. The time their guild finally killed Ragnaros, the time they lost everything in RuneScape. Diablo has created those same stories for decades. Players still talk about their first Windforce drop, their most insane hardcore death, or that one trait that changed everything. These becomes legends, moments we share in forums, streams, and communities. Just like MMOs, Diablo isn't just a game, it's a culture of shared triumphs and tragedies. From its dark dungeons to its endless loot grind, from its brutal hardcore deaths to its thriving communities, Diablo has always carried the soul of MMORPGs. So if you've been chasing that same old school feeling of danger, grind, and glory, maybe the world of Sanctuary is where you belong. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this dive into Diablo, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.